All right, people. I think we're live. Let me just get perfectly centered here. Some last minute crises because I left a certain adapter thing. Is that bad? It's better. Okay. And now I hear myself in the background. Hold on, mute that and pause that. All right, here we go. We're live. Good. Yeah, minor disasters because I left the little adapter thing for the mic and the camera not here. And so I'm now doing this off an old computer, which has the USB port thingies because the new Mac or the Mac Air Pro, whatever I have, only has those fire cable things. And then the thing that I used wasn't working properly. Okay, so all that to say is I was planning on having a little graphic to run through an article. Instead, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull up the article. Double audio. Oh, no, it's over now, the double audio. Because in this introductory Viva Rant, it's going to go over a couple of articles that I just discovered that have irritated is not the word. Irritated is not the word. Enraged. And I'm always reminded of, it's Nietzsche, who says, in fighting monsters, be careful not to become a monster, because when you stare into the abyss stares back. Don't become a monster ever in life. Some people call it being a sissy, and some people call it being Canadian. Kill them with kindness. Every now and again, a sassy, snarky tweet. So let's have the rant of the week. I'm going to drink some Monticello, Saint-Brigitte de Laval, sur Laval, whatever. I don't know what this is. It's carbonated water. I'll drink it in a bit. I missed a bunch of super chats already, and I'm sorry, and I can't find them now because it's whatever. Is this available on Rumble? Thank you for whoever said that. We're live streaming simultaneously on Rumble. Rumble, for the time being, I don't think you can comment yet. And a lot of people have issues with Rumble in that they ask for a cell number in order to sign up for an account, which I understand. The world's never going to be perfect. So you deal with the perks and the pitfalls of the various beasts with which you work. Okay. First things first, I'm going to miss super chats, and don't get miffed if I'm going to. 30% of the super chat goes to YouTube. I am currently looking into Streamlabs, which is the less beast feeding alternative, but we'll see if we can get there. Let me just bring up two super chats while I'm here. Please ask Barnes what the difference between Nike Lil Nas lawsuit and Hennessy performing altering 4G. We will. We're going to get into it. We're talking about Lil Nas Satan shoes tonight. We're talking about a lot of stuff, but let me get the rage off first. There was, this is Chet Chisholm says, this is not criticism of Ms. Hansen's abilities as an EMT, but if she approached me, paramedic, the same way, I would not have allowed her to access the PT or permitted her to accompany in the ambulance. Okay, we're going to get into that as well. Here's the rant and the rave and starting. There was an article that I just read because a daycare professional, whatever we call them, a daycare professional, not necessarily daycare, but child teaching thing professional, came up to me and said, Viva, or Dave, which is my real name, did you read the article about the defective face masks I don't even know if it's defective or if it's just, the way these were manufactured, that apparently people are inhaling some carbon fiber thing, whatever's in the mask to filter out the mask. I said, no, I haven't heard about it. Why do you ask? And she says, well, daycare professionals and students and kids have been wearing them, a specific model, for months, and they've just been recalled because they found out that people are inhaling particulate particles, carbon fiber particles from the masks. And so I went and I looked it up. So I'm going to take the super chat down. And I looked it up. And apparently millions in Quebec have been recalled, or people have been told to stop using them because of potential toxicity of these face masks. And I got enraged because things have been weaponized to the point where, when you ask questions, you get demonized, and you get demonized as an anti-whatever. They call them anti-climate people, anti-science, anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers. It's like the second you ask questions, you become anti. And I have never been anti-masker, and I've never been anti-vaxxer, and there's no but to that. I've never been it. I just have an objection to them becoming required by law for a number of reasons. And this would be one of them, where when you are not allowed to question things, it's as though everything bypasses quality control, except it bypasses intellectual quality control. And dare you question, well, is this good? How dare you? You want Granny to pass away. And now, a year later, we have been finding out, and we don't exactly know how long the government agencies knew of the problem, that these masks, people were inhaling particle matter of whatever is in the mask. And teachers and kids were complaining about it because apparently it felt like they were inhaling cat hair while they were wearing these things. And you dare ask the questions, you're deemed an anti-masker. Dare ask questions about the vaccines, you're called an anti-vaxxer. And I actually had this discussion with someone, and I said, I'm not anti-vaxxer. I just don't think everybody needs to take all the vaccines and whatever they're imposing at any point in time blindly. And the person unironically asked me, well, doesn't that make you an anti-vaxxer? It's like, if you don't want to take all of them, it doesn't mean you're an anti-vaxxer. If you ask questions about things, it doesn't mean you're an anti-vaxxer. I got a tetanus shot the day I cut my finger metal detecting. And now Canada recently, it's CBC, by the way. So I wish I could pull these articles up, but if you follow me on Twitter and if you're a member in Locals, I've shared them there. CBC said, there's a particular vaccine that Canada is now suspending application of or injection of to people under 55 because they've noticed, I think in Europe, there were some cases of blood clots. And so you're an anti-masker if you say maybe it shouldn't be required by law and maybe I have a few questions. You're an anti-vaxxer if you say maybe I'd like to ask a few questions and maybe I'd like to have informed consent. God forbid what was, under the Geneva Convention, not the Geneva Convention, what I'm talking about, the Nuremberg Convention. So that's my rant. And now they're saying, okay, we'll suspend this vaccine for people under 55 because of certain risks. Now the government says, recall. Don't use these masks and put them in a safe place. The masks that we were compelling you by law, not just compelling, professionals, teachers, which is one thing, children to wear these things. So they might have been inhaling some inorganic fibers for the last 8 months because the government made it a law to do this. And what put me over the edge of my enraging rant, point curation, welcome. Point curation, I believe, made that painting right back there, which has now found its place in the backdrop. What put me over the top? Francois Legault, our premier, for those of you who don't know. Full disclosure, I voted for Francois Legault. I voted for La Coalition Avenir de Québec last election, 2018. Like my grandmother used to say, I voted for them twice, the first and the last time. His tweets have just been glorious ivory tower. Look at me, I'm a person of the people, I'm a man of the people. He tweeted today, or yesterday, I forget which, second anniversary of celebrating Easter differently. But that doesn't stop you from spoiling yourself and having some chocolate. And then he's a picture of him close to some other person, I don't know who she was, in a store buying chocolate. I don't know what the heck is going on. And everything about that blew my mind in terms of its, what's the word I'm looking for? Tone deafness and absolute in-your-face, I guess ostentatious, that's not the right word, you know what I mean? Everything about it. As if to celebrate the second Easter where people are not allowed to celebrate what is to some the holiest day of the year. As if it's something to celebrate. Hey, second anniversary of celebrating Easter in a way that is not religious for some, and that is a total violation of religious and civil freedoms for others. Second anniversary. And, it's only going to be a matter of time before this becomes, it's never going to happen. Touch wood, it never happens. It's only going to be a matter of time before this is, hey, 10 years straight. This year, the supreme leader, the benevolent leader will allow you to celebrate Easter the way any free and civil society that has any respect for the most fundamental religious freedoms will allow you to, the way you're supposed to. And he's celebrating it like it's days at work without an accident, like it's an accomplishment to have violated year over year our most fundamental freedoms. And then to say, go eat chocolate, as if that's what Easter's about. Sorry, I'm shouting. As if in his mind, that's what Easter is about to people who celebrate Easter, eating chocolates. I'm not religious. No, but But I am now beginning to fully appreciate the value of religion and what happens when a government literally thinks they can replace someone's God. Tell them how to celebrate their most basic religious fundamental holidays, and then to pretend it's about eating chocolate. And setting aside the whole obesity being one of the most radically contributing factors to hospitalization and COVID problems. This premier who's been locking us down, over sanitation, stay in your houses, don't get sunlight, don't get exercise, now is telling you, spoil yourselves this Easter and have some chocolate. As if that's what Easter's about to the people who want to celebrate Easter. Oh, and then the other thing that pushed me over the edge, I didn't know it was news. I'm raging and ranting to somebody in the park. And they said, yeah, did you hear your premier selling his mansion for $5 million? And I was like, no, is this public information? Because I'm not about disclosing any private information. It's public. It said it's been everywhere. It's been an MTL blog, which is a Montreal thing, everywhere. He's selling his house for $5 million. Admittedly, he's been there for 20 plus years, and he bought it for 1 point some odd million in 98. Or that's what they think, at least. Our premier, who has been restricting the most basic civil liberties, shuttering businesses, giving people a stipend while everything we once knew of a free and democratic society has been wiped out, is selling his $5 million mansion, which has, incidentally, according to the listing, Joseph Montanaro is the agent. Apparently, I know him. He's very, very, very good agent. It has a pool and a cinema. My goodness, being locked down in a house with a pool and a cinema must be a little less hard than being locked down in a 1.5 apartment in downtown Montreal, where you don't necessarily even have a balcony to sit on. Obviously, my biggest blessing in all of this lockdown is we have a treadmill in the basement. If I didn't have the treadmill in the basement in winter, okay, I missed a bunch of super chats with that. Let me just see. I see Robert, and Robert, I think, is laughing. Sorry, guys. That's the rant. Thus ends the rant. It's we are living in a world where political incompetence gets rewarded, where the politicians who are destroying and crippling and punishing the lowly citizenry are so far detached, they have no idea. And even if they have an idea and they can empathize in the trivial way politicians empathize, they do not appreciate what people are going through. And they don't appreciate what we're going through. And I said this in one of the tweets. Our leaders have destroyed our rights, destroyed our economy, destroyed our family units, destroyed social cohesion, and at the same time, over the last year, actually failed to protect the most vulnerable people. Let them eat chocolate cake. Let them eat Easter eggs while I sell a $5 million mansion. And the reason in one of the articles why he's listing it, it's too big. It's too much to take care of. Did you see the absolute boss level minister who showed it? We're going to talk about it at a health inspector and cops at a church somewhere in Canada, Calgary. His name is Artur Pawlowski. More courage than me. I'm not even going to compare it to others. More courage than me. First of all, I wouldn't have used the N word or the Gestapo word. That detracts from it a bit, but my goodness, courage. In 2015, Ontario Nurses Association fought forced flu vaccines and mask wearing and won. The argument against masks, they don't work. Now, and this is not medical or legal advice. I know people are going to complain about this. I'm just reading a super chat. Now they advocate for unaccountable bureaucrats forcing everyone to wear them. Happy Easter. Thank you very much, Tara. And this is Tara. Sorry, Tara. This is not an endorsement of what Tara wrote. I know the limits of my knowledge. I just know that I saw 2 articles in the last 2 weeks which have enraged me because you get branded an anti-Xer because you dare ask questions, and then lo and behold, some small problems, some things here and there, some inorganic particulate matter that your children have been inhaling potentially for the last 6 months. Okay, let's see this. Love you, Viva, but I'm surprised it blew your mind. This is how they've acted from day one. No, I started slowly, but election season cannot come soon enough. Okay, so with that said, no legal advice in this podcast. It is in podcast format the day after. It's also on Rumble the day after, although it's live on Rumble now. What else? After the party, there's some chat going on at Locals. I'm going to bring Barnes in for that. My rant to Barnes, 0.8 seconds from the MS UCLA. Pick showing you I'm better at basketball picks when I only watch hockey. Okay. With that said, oh, by the way, and everyone, go share the link because YouTube sometimes gives notifications like 2 days later. Let's bring it in. The Barnes.